Oh,
Hello.
hello. Is
Uh-huh.
it me you're looking for?
Great start. You
I
singing.
can see it in your
You're
eyes.
singing on the YouTube. That's awesome right
Oh no.
now.
Oh no.
You started before I could warn you. The awesomeness. Uh,
All right.
my
Hold
back
on.
hurts. Don't mind me.
Why does your back hurt?
I don't. I think I sat on my sciatic nerve wrong or something. So it's like
Mm.
flared up in the bottom. So like, you might notice if you're watching on the stream, I'm gonna like be moving around at times and moving the ice pack that I've got on my back around a little bit.
Oh, so like I can see
You can
you?
actually see me right now. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that you could. I could have had Memphis.
Yes.
I don't even know if I can arrange that still.
Oh, I can make it happen. Yeah, we can eventually move ourselves to be on the tube live
Uh,
on the blue tube.
oh, God! I just opened up
I was
hidden
say, did I
YouTube and I
just scare
started
you?
hearing myself talking.
Don't
All right.
worry. The good news is I think I'm the only viewer, right? Oh, nope, we're up to two. Dean's already throwing out questions.
All right. I gotta mute this. So, good question. Why Travis can't show up on time?
Sounds like
No
is
clue.
he at a baseball game? Is that what I saw?
Tigers game.
Nice. So are we gonna be
Hopefully
talking
they.
to him while he's like driving home?
No, he said he'd be back in like 10 from now.
I got you.
So, hold on.
No, you're fine. Go get Craig.
I was about to say, gotta get Craig in here.
Gotta
I
get
actually don't,
Craig.
don't have a beer, don't have Craig.
Oh,
I
I
do
need a.
have tea
Ooh,
though.
I need a beer. What the hell? I gotta work in the morning. I can't drink a beer right now.
That's true.
Be- Dean, drink a beer for me.
Oh man, oh
Oh, we're up
man,
to
oh
four
man.
viewers already here.
All right, without the intro rating, we have to be like da, na, 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 da, na, 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 na. Hey, what did you think of that orchestral version for the award show?
I actually did not get to listen to that pod yet, to be honest.
I worked so hard on that,
I didn't
and
say I wouldn't listen. I haven't had a chance to. I'm still waiting on you to send me those pods so I can put them on the stream. Oh, BTW.
they're such huge files. No, I do need to do that. I do believe Gregory has joined us. No,
Gregory. I didn't hear
he had.
Craig. Usually I
Oh,
hear Craig.
Craig. Where's Gregory? Craig. If I.
Usually it's like some robotic name or something.
And he goes now recording.
Yeah, that guy. This
Craig.
part of the stream brought to you by Walmart Water.
Yeah. No. See, now everyone gets. This is like a weird behind the scenes.
And
We've
Walmart
parted the
Coke, by the way. I
curtain.
was drinking Sam's Cola earlier during the stream.
Everyone gets to experience now how much I polish and edit and shine the
Well, I
podcast,
figured
even though
that would
it's
be
no.
the cool part to see behind the scenes, so that they could like see what we're doing. Like when we're like you got the Brew Crew and Clark Bar up there in the general chat. They're like looking down here, like I wonder what these guys are doing. They're able to see it right now. I'm double fisting water and soda, and yeah, this is where I work from. By the way, sorry for the mess back there. It's boxes and stuff.
They the Craigster doesn't want to come on in.
Craig don't want to join us. What? And then Sean
Craig,
mentioned less is more. Well said.
he's just trying to nicely tell me to shut up.
Well, that's actually one of my favorite radio lines of all time. Somebody said to me once, "Less is more."
But yeah, hey, hello
Yeah,
everyone. See, it would be great if like Travis was here, because then he could probably fix this.
Well, I mean, I guess we could start and oh, I see the Craig issues you're talking about.
Yes,
Looks like
I
I.
mean,
Are you talking about the Chrome Dome up here, there, Jason? I told you I had a face for radio and a hairdo.
how would I actually be able to stream my camera to you?
All
I
you'd
don't
have
think.
to do, well, we could probably do like a Skype or something, or if you did, what's the other channel? Gosh, we just did it in the other stream. There's a OBS thing that you can use, OBS Ninja. You could use that, and I could pop it up on the screen here.
Well, that sounds like far too much work for me. At least tonight.
Well, yeah, don't worry about it tonight. They just get me tonight. They can see me, watch me lay back, pick my nose, might even take a nap. Hell, I even share my screen in the background. They'll be able to see like where I go looking at stats and stuff.
Now recording.
Craig!
Craig! Gregory! Craig is here on GSLR 98.2.
I
That would,
don't know of a 0.2, but that works considering all megahertz are odd numbers.
I mean, yeah. That's why it's ours. It's
Kind
0.2.
of like how all call letters east of the Mississippi River start with W. All call letters west of the Mississippi are Ks.
You know, my dad would be so ashamed
The
that
one
I
exception.
didn't get that right, considering he worked in radio.
The one exception to that is Pennsylvania. There is one station still in the state of Pennsylvania that starts with a K.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Why
Well,
that is,
shoot.
the hell if I know.
I mean, we're here. I say,
Well, we at least review, well, a race that we had.
yeah, hold on. I got the feels for this, all right? Ready?
Ah.
It's a long intro.
Period.
And it's time for the show. We are doing it live. Oh, turn down Sam.
Yeah,
Anyways,
we're gonna.
hey, it's a show. We're doing it live. We're keeping it real, keeping it raw. Here on WGSLR, something number.
Playing the wheels of steel. Live from the Towers of Power in upstate Chicago, Illinois, or somewhere around that area. Two guys you'll never listen to live because, my God, would you rather watch the Golden Girls on repeat?
I mean, yeah. All right, we're starting this, right?
I think we've technically started, like,
all right.
how long have I been on the air now?
Well, you know, Gregory got us going, and oh, you know what? I didn't actually have my extra microphone going, which has the more lossless sound quality.
Oh, are you all about that bass or something?
No treble. So, hey, you're listening to Just Here for the GSLR, a live show. First one we've ever done as a live show.
No
I
pressure.
am Sammy B, driver of the 22, and one of the admins here. And I'm joined by, of course, you know him. He is the voice of GSLR. It is Chris Scala. Chris, hello.
Hello. Does this mean I have to, like, introduce myself as, like, an owner of a race team now, too?
Oh, it's true. The voice of GSLR and owner of TIX Racing. Did you explained the meaning behind that, right?
Yeah, TIX, it's me and Chris Lewis. I broadcast his league on Monday nights and Tuesday nights. And, you know, he's got some great guys in a truck series they run on Monday nights. And, you know, I started by trying to reach out in GLSR to see, like, who was going to be free agents and stuff and who might be around for next season. And it was like everybody I talked to was like, nope, I'm staying here. Nope, I don't like you. Nope, you don't have enough hair. Nope, all these different excuses. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'll go outside the league and find people. So I reached out to Chris. I'm like, all right, who do you got for me? Because he has his own team already. And so I went and found one guy I knew, and he went and got three guys he knew. We put the thing together, and, well, it was like mixing chocolate and peanut butter and making Reese's.
What was the it's funny because there's so many. I do my best to try and learn all the names
Right.
before we start a season. I'm never very good at it, but like, how was the overall average finish of your guys?
Well, if the race would have been 73 laps, it'd have been really good. The problem is 75 laps, and it wasn't really good. They actually had a strategy called that it looked like they were going to make it on fuel, but then a caution came out late and created the two green-white checkers. But they were we had two of the guys running second and third, and they ended up finishing like 18th and 20th and 20 something, and then our other guy wasn't able to be there. He had his power. He had a Chris Dean moment, and his power went out. Yeah, tough break for him. But no, the thing was they had fun. They were competitive. They definitely had fun. That was one thing we talked about afterwards. They definitely saw the talent level that this league has. And matter of fact, they made me host a practice session for themselves at 8 o'clock tonight. So I didn't go see how they did, but you know, they definitely saw they had to bring their A game every week now.
Yeah, I mean they could be me. I finished 29th. It was a night to forget for me. And that again, everyone, guess what? We're only talking about my results again. Ha ha. No, shoot. Where did it all go wrong? I mean,
When you
I
showed
just,
up,
oof, dude. Um, I mean, you're not wrong.
just,
Uh,
just saying.
no, I just wasn't very fast from the beginning, and I was just trying to like my end goal was like just finish the race, just finish the race. And when pit cycle started going, all of a sudden I was not paying attention and sped the pit. Surprise, surprise. And I spent the rest of the race 2 laps down, and then there was one of those accidents that happened. I slowed down a ton, and then I want to say it was Lucas Strayer that all of a sudden like he had an accident, and then all of a sudden went backwards all of a sudden, and it was the most slow totaling of a car I've ever seen. I had to be going 30 miles per hour, and it was like he was a ninja, like the 5-inch punch or whatever. I don't know, or like inch punch where like they can punch you so close but it still hurts. That's what it was. Like my truck barely got hit and it was like boop, your engine's dead. So um, Blaine did his same old sorcery again of pulling a top 10 out of the hat. I don't know how he does it.
Makes me
It's
want to race like that.
but it's like only he can do it. Not maybe only he can do it, but like we were side by side a lot of the race, and then the end result is him. I think he got like P9, P8, or something like that. Um, Brewster, Brewster had a great
Right?
result. Hell yeah, man. So no, like it's funny. There's so many people that were in that like there were so many trucks in that race that there were so many names that I didn't even think about. I'm sure people who watched it forgot I was there because I think.
Well, I mean, I don't
But
think
like,
it's.
but that's what I mean. But like, there was so much action going on
Yeah.
overall that's a good thing.
It was a fantastic race. I mean, that first part of the race, you guys were like 10 to 15 laps in, and I mean, it looked like a funeral line procession going on from first to 30th. You guys were just lined up going down a straightaway, and it was like all you guys were missing were putting your flashers on, going down the straightaway, and you had a funeral procession going on down the front stretch here. But a couple other names to mention: Chris Treppa. I have no clue who the hell he is. He finished his third in this race. Sean
He was an
Peach.
Instagram find. He has been asking for seasons to join GSLR, and every time he messaged me, he's like, "Hey, wait, did I miss that?" He would miss it by like a week. So I'm super glad he got to make it in. And when we looked up his like iRating stuff, guy in crazy stats. So excited to have him here, and already we can see that he is someone that's going to be putting the herd on for the guys up front. Like Ricky had an easy season this season.
It's not going to be easy. I mean, Sean Peachin, great run in fourth. You mentioned Brewski. He finished sixth there. Parker, seventh, making his debut. Sparling, eighth. And then Caden Atkins was ninth. Bondurant, nice top 10 for him. I mean, Alan Best finishes 15th. And it was like, okay, I think he had a good run. But Jason Clark was competitive. I think he got to the lead at one point almost, which was like, whoa. Brian Sutphin had another Brian Sutphin type race. Runs up in the top 5 for 75 of 79 laps. Unfortunately, gets involved in something in those last 4, and he ends up back in 21st. Let's see, Allman led laps, I think. J.W. Miller got involved in some action. I mean, there was we had 35 trucks start this race. which is up there, I think, with the most you guys ever had,
Yeah,
which is awesome.
absolutely.
Again, I knew this was going to happen. This is what we talked about, is the people and the talent this league has. I brought it up during the stream. It's like you got the people that have been here forever, the Deans, the Brewers, the Clarks, guys that, I mean, let's face it, and it's no disrespect to them, we're getting lapped periodically every race at the beginning. And now they're out here running almost top 10 every week, leading some laps. They've worked on their racecraft, and they've improved. And that's added to the talent. Ben Pierce, I think he's got 3 straight top 3 finishes going back to last season.
Low key, he is becoming like his results are like no, you're right because it was second Indianapolis,
I think he finished
fifth,
second or third, I think, in Chicago.
second or third Chicago, and then second again. Like, how has he? I mean, we talk about Blaine's great results and Alan Bass coming out. Like Ben has emerged crazy good. I wonder how long he can keep the streak up. Not that I'm doubting him, but like shoot,
Right.
Millennium came out strong.
Yeah, Millennium, I mean, 1-2 finish. They almost locked out the top 3, but, yeah, I think Springer being over there now opens up that team to so much potential. I mean, it's that you got that A-plus driver now that can pass his experience down to these other guys, and it makes them better. It allows them to be stronger as a team. I mean, let's face it, that team had a lot of drama the last 2 seasons. And they've separated away from that drama, and now they bring in Ricky, and they I believe they have Bondurant now, and I forget their third guy, or their fourth guy, but that team is strong now, and I think can compete with the PPM guys, and can really compete for a team championship.
I'm just getting a breaking news here.
Dun,
Travis
dun, dun.
Iccovacci will not be able to make it. He had an instance come up at home, and he's not going to be able to take care of it. The dog apparently has made, and I've just seen a photo of it, quite an apocalyptic mess.
Uh-oh.
So it's going to be us. It's going to be us.
Should we do our
So
own town hall then?
yeah, we are running the show. But I feel like I guess we can kind of really talk a lot more about Auto Club if we wanted. I'm trying to think about it. I mean, can I just say, and this is not me stroking my own ego here, but I think Auto Club did exactly what I hoped it would do, and I am very relieved of that because I think it could have gone so much worse considering we walked into that race with a setup that had been designed for a pre-season 4 update,
Okay.
and we had no idea what we were going into. So I'm I'm very happy with how that race went because it still felt like you still had some pack racing, you still had some pretty powerful draft racing, but I'm elated that it went the way that it did.
It definitely could have went a lot worse. Had some green flag racing, had some pit stops, had great fights. It was very tough to pass. The draft, as usual, pulling its OP out there. Um, at times it looked like maybe just being on board with trucks. Um, it looked like maybe you're driving a slot car, for a better way to put it. I mean, you were just hauling tail and almost wide open the whole entire time, and trying to keep the momentum up. And that part kind of shocked me a little bit because I knew the draft would be there, but I thought you'd see a lot more handling. And in the end, you just had a lot of trucks going to the high side and just getting that run down the straightaway, and it made it very tough to pass. So you had those trucks that were back mid-pack and back to 20th and stuff that just had all types of issues trying to work their way through the field to get top tens and stuff like that. So um, it was just a wild race to be a part of, and to be able to broadcast it. That was just it was a lot of fun. I had a blast.
Jason Clark just had an interesting idea. Can we
Yeah,
throw
I
that
think
race
I
up?
can actually do that. If you give me one second here, I can work on that. I can put it and mute myself on the stream, not here on the stream, but on the stream there, and we can watch it in the background. Pardon my back injury here. Yeah, sciatic nerves suck. There's a PSA for you.
Yeah, no, I was camping this weekend. Well, cabining. I wasn't camping. I was staying in. I was actually in another one of our fine states here in the Great Lakes. I was spending some time in Michigan with some family in Sawyer, Michigan, enjoying the dunes there of Lake Michigan. Did a little swimming. It was nice. But one of my buddies there is a chiropractor, and he looked at my feet, and he's like, "Yeah, your arches have collapsed, so you need these special shoes. Well, not special shoes, but like went out and bought these Merrill hiking shoes that are not stylish. But I'll tell you what, my arches felt supported as hell today.
Can you please explain to me how the hell your arch collapses?
Basically, with your foot, you know, if your foot is resting on the ground, you should be able to tuck your fingers in on the inside of your foot a little bit, like maybe to like to your second notch, or and basically my foot is like flat on the ground, so my ankle has rotated a little too much, and so my foot isn't lying on the ground correctly. Long story short, we were talking about nerves and body issues, so my feet actually feel better today though, but my knees still feel weird.
Yeah, I find that very weird.
Hey, talking about Auto Club though, you know, it's the first race of the season went by, so naturally it's time to talk about Season 6 schedule. L.A. Coliseum.
Oh boy, you're talking about.
What do you think?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm ready to hear the negative.
Look, I'm okay with the creativity of this, but let's look at the logistics of this. What they're trying to do here. You're telling me that you're going to make 10 to 20 cars, depending on however rules they go by in a situation, with this whole spiel. You're telling me that you are going to have, forgive me, I'm trying to multitask here. These cars drive all the way across the United States from Charlotte, North Carolina. Charlotte, by God, North Carolina. To, there's a stream for you, by the way. To Los Angeles, for my guess would be like a 100 lap feature or something like that. You're telling me that you're gonna make these people do that? What looks to be like a Bowman Gray type race, which then brings the initial thought right back to, guys, why don't we use Bowman Gray? I mean, hello, it's right in your backyard that you could bring. Sorry, I'm actually putting the stream over here on the other window so I could see you guys and talk to you guys. Logistically, it just don't make sense to me to do this. Because you're forcing these teams to drive across the United States for what's going to be likely a dash type race on a custom built short track that is going to be like circa Soldier Field back in the 1940s when they used to race there. And sorry, I'm adjusting ice pack here. And make this happen. I like the creativeness of the idea. I applaud NASCAR for trying to be creative. I just don't know if that was the best idea. And I understand they're trying to, I think, keep the cars off of like the NASCAR tracks so that nobody gets an advantage in this car. But like I said, in the same state where 90% of your teams race out of, you have a track that is easily an LA Coliseum. Now, granted, Winston-Salem, North Carolina is nowhere near the size of Los Angeles. However, there's a track right in your backyard that would emulate racing at the LA Coliseum. Race at it.
I mean, I think I half agree, but I think you're not going to say, I don't think you're missing the point. I think you're very logistically bringing up all the logic reasons, but like they want to make the new markets work. They want to bring the race to the people, and they want to make headlines. they would absolutely make headlines if they went to Bowman Gray or is North Wilkesboro or whatever, a track like that for this season. But they want to get Los Angeles interested. They want to get Chicago interested. Annoyingly, they still didn't put Chicagoland back on the 2022 schedule, which pretty much certifies that it's dead because they put another Midwest track in there. I like Gateway, but it pretty much, again, seals the deal that they have put tracks, I don't know, like a circle around where Chicago is of tracks you could go to if you wanted, but they're not Chicagoland. But I mean, from a spectacle, a marketing, a story, they don't care that they're going to make the teams drive across the country because what more of a way to, you know, it's definitely like give the people what they want with a catch. They want short track racing. Fine, we'll give you a short track race, but we're still going to try and get Los Angeles interested, and it's going to get eyes. It absolutely is going to get eyes. I think people are like, oh, it's going to be so small, it's going to be chaotic, and it's like, yeah, but it'll be a show. It's going to be something to watch. I mean, I already kind of casually was thinking about, man, it'd be kind of cool to go out there. Again, I understand when it comes to NASCAR fans, I'm not a purist. And I know that I can be on board with a lot of things quicker than the average fan. So, in my opinion, I'm like, all right, sure, cool. It still sounds like they're going to have, like, if I'm correct, like, they're still going to do the sort of, not Speed Week at Daytona, but there will be the same format at Daytona for like qualifying and stuff, right? It's just the fact that like the Clash, that race that it is marketed as, is going to be this special event, right?
That's what it sounds like. Let me
Because
follow.
obviously Daytona wants those, that time and that marketing. They're not going to give up track time. They make too much money.
Right. Let me follow up with this. Let me put. I'm kind of switching gears on the same topic here and going a different road here for a second. You obviously know about the situation going on at Auto Club Speedway. You got a track that's being reconfigured, as we're looking at Auto Club in the background right now. On the screen here, it's a 2-mile course. Again, it's going to become a half-mile short track that they're, I think, either working on or going to be in the near future. You almost wonder if this is a NASCAR way to go out and try to save the LA market. Because as everyone remembers, in the mid-2000s, Auto Club Speedway had two races. They had one race in the fall, it was usually, or in the spring, that was the second race of the year. And then they would come back Labor Day weekend when they moved the Southern 500 out here, and they would race Labor Day night. And if you remember some of those races in the late 2000s, there was hardly anybody at the second race. That was the reason why they took the second race back away, and at that time they moved it to Atlanta and then put it back in Darlington where it is now. Some could easily argue that Los Angeles is not a NASCAR area. Let's look at why potentially this is. Look at the tracks that have been in that area. You had Riverside Raceway back in the 80s. I didn't get to watch a race there live because I was still too young. But the racing there was phenomenal for what I've looked and seen. You had a short track right outside of LA, Irwindale Speedway, that hosted some of the best short track racing I had seen on the West Coast. I mean, every January, I would make sure I was awake at night to watch the old Toyota All-Star Showdown they had there, which is they would bring all the late models and super late model series in there, and they would put on these 125 and 250 lap shows at this track that just was phenomenal to see. So there's two tracks right there that could have easily succeeded and went bye-bye. And now you're looking at Fontana, a track that, let's face it, they're pretty much tearing it to the ground and rebuilding the whole thing to try to improve the racing. So now you've gotten rid of 2 tracks, and now you're reconfiguring a 3rd track out in LA to try to bring fans to a good show. And from that standpoint, I look at it as, okay, you start to wonder, is LA a popular market for racing? And I'm going to follow up with this standpoint now. When we look at sizes of cities, obviously New York City's the biggest. LA is second, I believe, and Chicago's right there with them. I believe 4th is Houston.
Yeah, it's Houston. Chicago's 3rd.
Okay, Chicago 3rd, Houston 4th. I forget who exactly is 5th. But let's think about this. Do you realize that NASCAR doesn't race in the biggest 4 markets in America? If you take LA out?
True.
Maybe there's a reason for that.
I think LA does like racing. I just don't know if I don't know how what's the way to say this. There is so much racing history in LA and California that to say that they don't like racing is just wrong. They do. You think of some of the greatest speed, what's the word I'm looking for? Speed shops in the past and racing history. California is written all over it. I know that California was super important with like, oh man, my memory's a little foggy on this, but like, I think one of the very
shoot,
first...
I forgot Ontario. There's your 3rd track right there.
Oh yeah. Wow, I'm totally spinning the wheels here, but like Southern California is a racing area. I just don't know if it's a oval racing area. And to say it's not a car town is wrong. I mean, there's so much car culture that happens in LA, with especially like JDM culture around there. It's massive. So I don't know. I mean, that's the honest answer. Is I don't know why it doesn't work, because in all honesty, it should. There's so much car culture that is based around from or started in LA. Not stock car racing, and maybe that's the caveat. Maybe that's the challenge, is that a lot of that rich racing history doesn't go back to those roots. So
let me add this to you. I'm looking at the largest 10 cities right now online. Just pulled this up. It would shock you if I told you that NASCAR only goes to 2 of those markets. Now, you could throw Philadelphia in there as a 3rd, counting Pocono, if you wanted to. But you have New York City, LA, Chicago, Houston. So LA obviously right now has the track at the Coliseum. Outside of that, what else is there in LA right now, NASCAR wise? Chicago has nothing. Houston has nothing. Phoenix is your next biggest city. And now that's probably why the championship race is there, is because 1, the market size. 2, obviously Phoenix has done everything they can to try to make that track as cool as possible. So I think it's a unique track. Do I think it's the perfect track for a finale? No.
It's also why they're going so hot and heavy in the Nashvilles, because that's such a growing market.
Right. Then Philadelphia is at 6. That's Pocono, I guess, be the closest to that. San Antonio, as you saw there, 2 tracks. They're on the new season of Lost Speedways. Number 8, San Diego. Nothing down there. Number 9, Dallas. There's Texas Motor Speedway. Number 10, San Jose. So you're looking at 6 out of 10, 60% right now. If you look at today of the tracks that are raced at market wise, and NASCAR made this change back in 2001 when they went to the national networks, to Fox, to NBC, to TNT, and those guys. They made at that point the decision that we were no longer going to racetracks. We were going to markets. That's
Right.
why we lost North Wilkesboro. That's why we lost um, races at Atlanta and other tracks like that, because they were moving to Chicago. They were moving to Kansas City. They were eventually moving to Kentucky, which that track lasted long. Um, and going to these different markets, and not to mention Sparta, Kentucky. Is that supposed to be Cincinnati, I guess?
Maybe.
I had a guy I interviewed last night in a truck race I broadcasted that I never knew this about him. He says that he and his family actually despised Kentucky for a while because he felt that his home track was actually Louisville Speedway.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess I know I know why NASCAR is doing this because they want to be considered a major market sport and they want that. And I mean, I guess it is a question of are we repeating the same sins of the past where, they when they hit that major boom and they made Chicagoland and they made all these intermediates that are very similar and fizzled. Um, was is this a new version of that? I don't
Right.
know. I guess time will tell, because they're leaning into I well hold on how I guess I thought in my mind I guess I thought Austin was a larger market than not top 10, but that's why Circuit of the Americas another growing market. They wanted to go to Austin. Um, and again, that's why, again, you can look at the map and you can see every racetrack that surrounds Chicago has gotten a race now, basically, because they aren't going with the Chicagoland, I guess. Road America. Obviously, Indianapolis had a race. I'm not saying it didn't, but like again, that is in the not far from Chicago bubble. Michigan's not far from there. Now Gateway's not far from there. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I from a draw eyes, get people started standpoint, I know why they're doing it. And I mean, if there's a recipe for success that I've seen work to get eyes and draw interest, it's to, get it in front of people's faces and make them see it. Um, I know so many people that talk to me about Formula One stuff because they watched Drive to Survive. So now I know a lot of people who casually talk F1 for me because they got started and that was their hook is it got in front of their screen because they weren't watching your TV channels that you get on your standard networks, but they did watch Netflix.
Right.
So I'm not saying NASCAR has to go the F1 route, but I'm saying that I still think there are people who are interested in auto racing that don't know they're interested in auto racing yet. So shoot, I get it. It's a stunt, but I guess sometimes you got to stunt to get noticed. And I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, for the first time in a long time, NASCAR feels like it has some momentum behind it. So why not play some strong cards?
And I understand where you're coming from there. Um, the logic makes sense, but I'm going to kind of steal your quote there for a second, that they're forcing it in front of people.
Yeah.
And then you go to the old quote, you can lead a horse to water,
But you can't make a drink.
right? So you're trying to get a new generation of fans out here. That's why you've got this next gen car coming next year. It drives like an Indy car, which arguably is a fast growing sport. IndyCar is supposed to I think it's tomorrow or next week, they're supposed to release their schedule. For the first time in, I think, the history of the IndyCar series, Texas Motor Speedway is not on the schedule next season. Anybody want to guess why? They ruined the track. They got all that PJ1 now that sits in that corner. In turn one, they've ruined that track when it comes to IndyCar racing. The old Texas Motor Speedway was perfect. To go back to Austin, what's the capital of Texas?
Isn't it Austin?
It is Austin. So, that plays a role in that. And Circuit of the Americas, state-of-the-art track. I think you take the rain away from this season, I think it produces some great racing. which shocked me because I would have said, and I think I said it in our podcast, I'm like, I don't see these cars fitting there. I was wrong. And I'm happy to be wrong, and I'll be the first to admit I'm wrong. But you mentioned these markets. They've tried multiple times to get tracks at Chicago. Michigan, obviously, perfect track considering you got Detroit, the automakers right there in that state. There are so many other tracks out there that you could easily go make a race happen at. And it doesn't even have to be a Cup Series race. Let's look in the state of North Carolina alone. Now, I understand NASCAR is a national sport, but your home is still North Carolina. Off the top of my head, I can only think of one team right now that officially is not in the state of North Carolina, and that's Trackhouse. It used to be Barney Visser Racing at Furniture Row. They were in Colorado. But Trackhouse is actually out of Nashville now. So you walked away from North Wilkesboro, which put on some phenomenal racing and still would, I think, today. You walked away from that track. You walked away from Atlanta and only did one race there. You modified Kentucky. There's no more racing in Kentucky. You modified Texas. And you've already lost IndyCar to that track. And now you're looking at only one race there this season. They had the All-Star race. Was it a good race? I'll leave that up to debate. These tracks that they're trying to modify and do these different things to. That's what worries me about Atlanta Motor Speedway. They're about to make this a multi-grooved, multi-banked racetrack. Narrowed it up so that they're running Daytona-like speeds around Atlanta. That scares me. From the standpoint of every time SMI, which is the owners of Atlanta, Texas, Kentucky, Bristol, they made it a multi-groove track. Now they're running dirt races there. It's like all these things that they're trying to do with these tracks. Stick to the basics, but don't be scared to broaden the horizon and go out to these other tracks. It's okay to, you know what? Why not go maybe run the Xfinity and Truck Series back over at Lucas Oil Raceway? Yes, the big track brings in money, but you know what else brings in money? Fans. You'll get more people at Lucas Oil Raceway if you get enough grandstands there than you will at the big track. Bye, Drift. That was one hell of a ride, by the way, for him. That's the only thing I think about in this picture. It's like, I understand you won't go to different markets, but there's so many tracks that you could choose from or go to. And yes, I understand you got safety and stuff like that you got to work on. Nashville's a perfect market for bringing racing back there at the super speedway, and then now getting to the short track. I think eventually, I think that's perfect. I think, why not the old Atlanta? I was ready for them to say, we're putting Atlanta back to the way it used to be. That would have been perfect. But I know I'm rambling on this a little bit, but it's just something that it has bothered me recently, and it's not because I'm more now in the older demographic of this league of NASCAR, but I think you got to keep the heritage in it a little bit. And don't walk away from what built you.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a balance in everything.
You put a Roval at Charlotte. I think Denny Hamlin said back when the whole, I think it was the Bristol Dirt Race or somewhere, Denny Hamlin made a comment of like, it was when they announced the Atlanta track. He made the comment of, we're driving through parking lots now. Charlotte.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think I come from a different place from this, and I'm not going to deny that. The things. If someone came up to me and they told me, "Oh, hey," I'm trying to think of an example. Okay, this is a very realistic thing that could happen. This isn't even a hypothetical. Someone comes up to me and they go, "Hey, Sam, so did you hear what they're going to do to Spa? Um, yeah, apparently it's too dangerous, and so they're going to completely re-change Eau Rouge, and now it's just going to I don't know. There's they're putting a chicane before it. I know they actually did do a chicane at one
There's
time.
a chicane there.
Yeah. So you know what I mean. Uh, but like if they're like, oh, they're going to completely change that corner, or hey, did you hear that they're not going to go back to Monaco? Um, those things would upset me. And like, not even upset me because like I'm not saying that the lives of the guys who drive don't matter, and I understand that Eau Rouge is a super, or Radion, whatever, is a super dangerous corner that has to be respected, and that if there are things that they can do externally to make it safer, then why not? Um, but yeah, it would be different for me because that is a series that I've known for longer, and um, where new things that pop up in NASCAR for me, I'm like, yeah, sure, let's try it. I have to respect also the where other people are coming from in that. Very similar to like the number placement thing. For some, this is just a tragedy beyond tragedies. For me, in my mind, I'm like, well, I get the advertising space thing, sure, and it does look a little different, but I think I'll get used to it. Um, I don't know. I'm not trying to come in here and poo-poo anyone's concerns or thoughts or feelings because those things are important to us, and what makes sport matter is that we care. Um, and I do think on the flip side, you talked about you know the heritage of the sport and going back to the roots of it. It's not like, and maybe you'll disagree. I don't feel like NASCAR is only trying to go to the big markets and they're only trying to do road courses. Yes, there are the most road courses that have ever been in a calendar, and yes, but they are trying to make Auto Club work, and they're making it into a short track, something that everyone's been asking for.
Hmm.
And I mean, every day you hear about how steam seems to be happening at North Wilkesboro. Personally, I don't think NASCAR is going to be the first major series to run there, but it's going to be SRX because they're more I don't want to call them. I feel like as an organization, they can more easily make it happen than NASCAR could. But you're hearing those places being brought up and the inertia behind it. So I don't feel like it's been abandoned, but I'm also not the one who's been in the game longer, if that makes any sense.
Hmm.
So, um, wow, I will admit I was not expecting. This is just here for the GSLR, but of course, stock car racing is a key factor in what we do.
Hmm.
So, talking about the news it fits.
And we'll let you guys, if you guys have questions you want to ask us, I mean,
Yeah,
we'll
shoot.
open
I
the
mean,
door up, do a little town hall our way, I guess. But
this is just an open chat now, so
yeah, pretty
you know,
much. But
you know,
no, and we'll wrap up on this because we got a Homestead race we got to get ready for here tomorrow night. But I'll finish my opinion here on this as saying this: the tracks that they're taking away the races from are mostly the second races. So when Gateway gains this race, they're getting it from Pocono. Dover only has one race now. You know, um, you you've got tracks that. So let me back it up here for a second and say this: how would you feel about a Cup race in South Boston?
hmm. I mean, I haven't thought about it honestly, so I mean,
Right,
I guess
but
there's
it's just something that crossed my mind. What would you think about Um, Here, let's go into your back end of the woods. Uh, the DeCoin. What about a cup race there?
Des Moines?
DeCoin, the dirt track.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying Des Moines, and I was like, "There's a track in Des Moines." Um, yeah. I mean, I guess I have. I mean, the honest answer is I hadn't thought of any of those. So
I'm throwing tracks out there that are still near major markets that you could go run at. Yeah, you got to make adjustments to NASCAR's quality or whatever of style of track. Um, but there are so many tracks out there that I think could still sit there and you could bring in a good crowd. I mean, look at Road America. The crowd was huge for the Cup race. Um, those people know how to bring a party.
Now recording.
We lost Craig.
he came back.
Oh, okay. Hi, Craig. We don't take commercials here, Craig.
Well, hopefully. Oh, there he went.
Oh, we're losing Craig. Well, at least you have the full edition of the stream here on the on YouTube.
All right. Well, now we're really off the rails now.
Yeah. I think he's telling us
I'm
to
gonna-
shut up, probably.
I'm gonna try and get him in one more time.
Go ahead.
And then maybe that's a sign. Maybe this will just be the lost episode. And people will talk about it in hushed whispers.
Well, we talked about doing a town hall, and I mean, it's unfortunate Travis couldn't be there, but, while I'm sitting here on YouTube squeaking my chair like hell because some reason it wants to squeak.
It's an empty town hall though, no questions.
Yeah, there's been a few, like Dean asked up there why Travis can't be here on time, which Travis had other obligations. Clark talked about his race a little bit here, but I mean, we've got some viewers watching. They're sitting here, they're looking at my fat self. Sean apparently is ready with the practices. He's ready to race, but no, I mean, if you guys want to share your opinion, if you guys have any questions for, Sam might be able to answer some when it comes to GLSR or whatever. I mean, if you have any questions for me when it comes to the streaming stuff or to whatever. I mean, whatever I can help with. If you want to talk to racing stuff, we could do that. But just that's kind of me rambling a little bit. But there are so many tracks basically when it's over with. I don't think you have to go overthinking things like NASCAR seems to be doing to try to make creative moves. I applaud it, but like I said, you're going out to Los Angeles where you've already got a track that's being pretty much rebuilt. And you're going to run a race out there at the Coliseum. Now, maybe a contract thing, too, that says that LA, has to have a race or something. And maybe that's why they're like, well, what's the next best thing? Where can we go? Well, let's see. Irwindale's not there. Or it's closed, I think. Let's see. Riverside's not there anymore. Ontario's not there anymore. Where the hell do we go? Oh, let's go do something at the Coliseum. Old school place, old venue. Why the hell not? So, like I said, you go an hour up the road from Charlotte, you go to Winston-Salem, let's go run a race at the damn Bowman Gray Stadium. There's your clash right there. Why not go run a cup race at Hickory? They used to run there back in the day.
Sorry, I'm just trying to get Craig.
No, you're fine. I'm just rambling on, but anywho, now we can talk about Homestead a little bit. We can get off that topic a little bit. It's just an interesting topic, and I think that could be discussed for a while. But Homestead tomorrow night, obviously 180 miles, 120 laps. Last season, a guy named Barnes almost stole a win there.
Well, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it again.
Well, you're not going to have your spotter this time around, likely. But, we saw last night who's going to be the strong guy, or last week, who's going to be the strong guys. I mean, obviously, Ricky's Ricky. I think that whole team is going to be good. I mean, looking here, 25 laps into this race right now. Look at these names up front. Treppa. Sutphin's up there. Clark Gennikin. I didn't even mention his name yet. I can tell you right now firsthand, that kid's got talent. I've watched him in other leagues. He ran into some bad luck at the end of the race last night, but he went up there and straight past Springer for the lead. Grew Fontaine. You'll learn I call him Grew a lot. Obviously Dean's running well. Look at Clark up there in 8th right now in this race. So I mean, it's comers and goers in that race. It had its drama and stuff, but I think tomorrow night Homestead you're going to see the same thing. You're going to see a little bit of draft. You're going to see a lot of handling.
A lot of tire wear.
A lot of tire wear. Homestead eats up tires like I eat pizza, New York, and I think we're going to see some fantastic racing. I think we might see some yellows, but I think we're going to see some strategy too. And viewers, again, I'm not trying to. I want you guys to be a part of this tonight. That's why we're here streaming this. We want you to be a part of the show with us and share us your thoughts at Homestead or any questions you might have about the race or whatever. Or what you think could happen tomorrow night, because we've got plenty of great teams out here that are going to show its muscle here, and I think eventually you're going to start seeing the cream really rise to the top as everybody gets used to being around each other.
Yeah, no, I'm begging you guys, ask us some questions. I mean, literally ask. It doesn't even have to be about Miami. Just shoot us a question.
I'm not as desperate as he is.
I'm desperate. Now, I've officially given up on trying to get Craig in here, so this is an
official lost episode.
Yeah, those who got to experience it will cherish it forever. I'll tell you what, I was really frustrated after Auto Club, and I went and I probably did an hour and a half of laps, and I still don't think it helped me figure that place out. Because the tire wear is rough. I mean, I did a fuel stint, and I know that I have you know exactly what I do wrong. Enter with too much speed, get to the throttle too quick. But I had just obliterated my right front tire after one fuel run. And it's, Sean is definitely right there with that, because I was watching.
Absolutely.
We did some practice together that night, and I know he's done more beyond that. Sean will be one to watch. I think Dean, I know, this is a personal favorite of his, but again, they were up front last week, so no surprises there. This is definitely going to be an interesting race to watch with this many trucks, because I remember when we had a lot of guys for season 3. It was 3. And our second race of the year was Richmond. Yes, it was Richmond. Was our follow-up race, and that was a mess of a race. There was a lot of cautions. There was a lot of heatedness. So, last week I think went well for the quality of racing that we were able to get on track. But
None of that.
But I picked Homestead Miami as the second race. I always like to pretend to imagine making a schedule with the travel logistics in mind. And I know they're actually going to be doing that anyway, where they're going to do the Clash and then go down to Florida for Daytona. But I just feel like Miami puts on racing that's quality racing. It does not encourage people to, not to say not run hard, but at Charlotte, I just feel like everyone always runs up against each other, and we all know the track really well, so that's why I feel like the racing's always a little extra crazy. But we'll see how that goes the week after this, because Charlotte's week 3.
Yep.
So, and then we pack our bags for Japan. So, but well,
I'm still very mad that talking Japanese isn't a part of the playlist here.
I wanted to do something more off the wall.
Wang Chung. I mean, come on.
Come on, Sean. Ask us a question.
Sean's got some good points here, though. But
he's got astute points.
He's got some great points there. And I'm looking at right now the race. It's going to be the third race here, I believe. And I see the results here of race 2 they had. This is the one Allman won last year. Of course, Dean finished second, Peach in third, Dalton and Noah Maori. It's the race that Bob Johnson finished sixth there. And a great run for him. But it's gonna be some fuel mileage. It's gonna be tire strategies. The cautions are gonna fall where they're gonna fall, and I think it's gonna make the racing very interesting. With the 3 sets of tires, 120 laps, 65% fuel, you're looking at fuel runs probably at about 27 laps. So when you do the math there, 27 times 4 is definitely not 120. It's more like 114 or something like that. So you're looking at 4 stops probably, and if you get 1 caution, you're trying to save fuel to make it a 3-stopper. So I think your usual people up there are going to be the guys to watch. I think, you know what, while we're here, I might as well have a little fun with this since we're kind of modified this whole damn show. I might as well go ahead and do a little fantasy preview while we're here. I'll jump over here to the fantasy page. I didn't get to do one last week, and I felt bad because I think Teller's still picking on me, even though I'll go ahead and say this, don't pick him. I didn't even get to put a team in last week because just the way everything ran with our stuff last week. But, no, so, I mean, you're going to have your usual suspects up there. I mean, as I look at the fantasy stuff here, I mean, Springer's $197. I mean, that's a lot of money. I mean, that's nearly a third of your account right there by money-wise. I mean, Zach Allman, Calhoun. Obviously, Calhoun's not racing, so, I mean, he could be one, or obviously Allman, Miller. I mean, JW did not have a great start at all to the season. I mean, he ran kind of middle of the field all night and got involved in a wreck. So, I mean, there's so many good values here, but there's a lot of dollars here to spend, but there's not a lot of dollars when it comes to separation amongst drivers at all.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for some of the value picks. I think there's some guys that ran strong and just didn't seal the deal, or they weren't able to. You talked about Clark. How do you pronounce his name? Gennigan.
Clark Gennigan. I believe it is.
Clark Gennigan.
Get yourself a Gennigan.
Samuel Fontaine. Those are guys that are going to be super interesting to see what their value is, because I still don't think. I know we tried to do a little more balancing for guys who we knew were going to be really, really good, like Dylan Parker. I think he had. I mean, I still think he's undervalued for his skill level, but he's still like a value pick right now. But yeah, I think that'll change quick once people catch on to who's your regular.
And I'm going to take out the biasness here for a second, but I'm looking down here at the bottom. The bottom 2 guys right now, because they made their first 2 starts last week, Cameron Ingram, Tim Averill. They're both on the TIX team. The reason why I brought these guys over, and Sean Peachin can attest to Cameron, they're good drivers. And I'm not going to bring people over here that are going to run 40th and not compete at all. So, I mean, those guys are going to get better. I mean, Robert Johnson finished 6th here last season. He's right there at $109. Clark is right here at 110. Brandon Alphin, 110. That's another great driver. Again, reason why I brought him over here. And it's not because they're going to blow away the field. You saw it last week. They were right up there with everybody else. But they're talented drivers. So from top to bottom, there is not really a wrong answer anymore. Any driver you pick, for the most part, is going to be in competition for top 10 finishes now. It's a matter of now, unfortunately, there's a lot of names, Trepa, for example, that I've got to learn more about. So when it comes to that in a fantasy thing, I guess you can kind of compare it to fantasy football. You got these rookies that you don't know what they're going to do. You've seen one race of them so far. Do you go off that one race and hope that they keep going? If so, then you go with Trepa. I think you go Gennigan. I mean, look, Clark's up here in 3rd right now in this race. As a matter of fact, I think this is part of the race where Clark shows up and he blows the doors off both Trepa and Springer in this run. So I mean, there's so many great picks here. It's just a matter of balancing money now, and balancing the money out and stuff.
Oh, well, Sean Peachin got the last laugh because he said he had a question. And he said, "Have I talked to you about your vehicle's extended warranty?" Well,
oh, really?
folks,
really?
get my hopes up like that and dash them so quickly. But don't worry, my hopes will get dashed even further once I put myself on track tomorrow. So, um, let's see. No, Tech, sorry about that. We are absolutely full to the brim with drivers, but you can join our Discord or just follow us on Instagram. And
I know a team that could probably use some spotter and crew chief help.
I know one guy in particular.
I wouldn't even go in there.
But it's I'm still I am using this season to fuel my want to keep improving because I know that if I don't improve, I'm just gonna be pretty bummed out by the end of the season because everyone's just getting so good, which is a great problem to have. It's exactly what I wanted. But all right, Sean did give us one question.
That's a really legit question.
What track do you guys think will be a mega deal for shaping the top 10 into the playoffs? It's hard to not pick the road course, like the weird races. Or have us talking about it like the next week. I'm gonna look at the calendar.
I think
again.
Eldora's one. Because Eldora's 3 races away from the from the cutoff.
It is.
I think Lucas Oil, the race immediately afterwards, is another one because now you're at a short track. So if you come out of Nashville Super Speedway, which I see you guys put Captain Esports Network as a sponsor, I appreciate that. The Eldora and Lucas Oil combo, their race 8 and 9, I think could really either stash someone's playoff hopes, I guess if that's a term for helping, or dash a lot of playoff hopes at that point.
Yeah, I mean, we'll hit that mid-stretch where the season, I mean, it doesn't get weird, but like Twin Ring Oval's still an oval, but like you hit the GP, Rockingham, Nashville, Eldora, Lucas, like that's a stretch there where someone can really stretch or fall, depending on how the time goes. And that, again, I think that Eldora-Lucas combo is going to make Michigan intense like it was. I think, yeah, like once you get past those two, then it's, the races are away because I think Michigan is going to be an intense race like it was. I think Gateway is going to be I know this isn't deciding the top 10, but I think Gateway is going to be that race that is the one that we talk about from the playoff tracks. I'm serious.
I'm gonna disagree with you there.
Okay.
The field is so tight, and with the way the points are set up, and the bonus points, and so on and so forth, I think that stretch, and I think specifically, my opinion, Eldora and Lucas Oil's Raceway, those 2 races are going to put somebody in the playoffs and take somebody out of the playoffs by the end of those 2 races. And it could easily be a name you would not expect. One that it's like, okay, this guy needs to be in there. I mean, I'm looking at, and Sean, I hate to use you as the example here, but you look at, Sean's last couple races last season. Of course, the Indianapolis issue happened, but there was those couple of bad races he had where he was like, yep, there goes my playoffs. Those 2 races could easily be that step. That it's like, yep, there goes my playoffs. Bye-bye. Just like that. Out from 5th down to 13th in points and out. I think the points are going to be that tight with this talent level.
Yeah, it's going to be intense. I think there's definitely no telling who is, I mean, there's no telling who's in or out, but right. Even last season there was you felt like you had some for sure guys, but that is just outdoor. I mean, and I'm not wishing ill will on anyone when I say this, but Zach Ahmed could miss the playoffs.
Yeah, how about that?
No, I'm not joking.
No, I mean, no, it's accurate.
Yeah, it's crazy because Zach is Zach. He had a tough break last week where he had the connection issue, got in late, and was never able to catch back up. I'm not saying it ruins his season, but it's an uphill battle from here. He's incredibly talented. He'll be up front, but you never know. A few bad races in a row. We'll see. All right, people keep teasing me with
Now we're getting
questions.
questions all of a sudden here, and I see Alex last night. Nora got broadcasted their race last night after the TI race. Alex went out there at Canadian Tire and put on a hell of a show at the end and ran top 3. I don't know what it is about Canadian Tire putting on exciting races every time. I mean, you know a little about that. But
Hey, I have a question.
Okay.
And this is me just spitballing, and because I'm waiting for Jason to give us his question.
It could be a minute.
What would your gut reaction be if I told you, and this is everyone, this is speculation, this is not a real thing. What would your reaction be if Belle Isle was a playoff track? That's a lot of silence.
Wow.
I'm just curious.
Well, I mean, the one time that the series is ran there, oh my gosh. There's your question, by the way, Sam.
Man, everyone's just.
And
yeah.
I don't think Clark is talking about Kentucky.
No.
So,
I was gonna make him a paint, and then I got behind on stuff. Everyone's just giving me a hard time tonight.
Well, I mean, you're Sam. Hello.
Yeah, no, it's
rather
true.
be you than me. They can give me a hard time when I screw up on the stream. So the one time you guys went there, JW ran away with the damn show. But it wasn't for a lack of excitement. I'm gonna say something there. It's probably not gonna be popular.
Okay.
But I'm not scared to say this because I know we all have respect our opinions, and go from there. I'm a firm believer that road courses should not be in the playoffs.
Okay.
And I say that only because of the way iRacing has them set. I think if iRacing had its own setting to where the cautions came out like they do on ovals, if you know what, if you go back to that one answer alone, I think you would see a different style of racing on road courses, and I think at that point you would see fantastic racing on road courses. I mean, when you throw in a competition caution, it improves those races dramatically. When you have and Sean, I see what you're saying there, and I totally understand that comment. When you have a race that goes without caution, you usually have one guy that runs away and laps the field. You have another guy that finishes second that, is 40 seconds out of third. It almost turns into an F1 race, for lack of a better way of putting it, for the most part. And I think when you throw in the element of cautions, when you throw in the element of surprise in a road race, I think that's what builds the drama to make that race good. So I think from the standpoint of the cautions,
I mean, we could fix that sort of. The problem is that we would need someone.
Right. You would have to bring somebody in the booth.
Right. Yeah, to run just cautions and be paying attention to seeing, okay, just like F1, if someone has a spin but they're alone on track, okay, it's a local caution versus, okay, we're going to do a, virtual safety car or a full caution. So, if that was feasible, sure. Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't think it's going to happen. It's just me. Because here's where this comes from. Travis has a set of rules that he lays out for the schedules, where he is saying, "Hey, you must have these many tracks that come over from last season, so guys don't have to buy 10 new tracks."
Right.
He says, just with how sponsors Chicago ends the final race. Michigan is the last race before playoffs, and the playoffs have to be Great Lakes tracks. And then we figure out the calendar from there. And so I'm always trying to think about the playoffs are sort of falling into a format with Indianapolis being the one before the finale, Chicago in the finale, and it just leaves these two open spots for new tracks.
And I think those two tracks are the perfect tracks to end the season. And I can't believe I'm saying that about Indianapolis. I can't believe I've been saying that about Indianapolis. But after that race last season, I mean, it's got to be on the schedule for a truck race.
Yeah, no, it's put on such good racing. Sean, to answer your question, do you feel like perhaps with the level of competition we may see better road courses this season? Yeah,
Absolutely,
I'm kind of
absolutely.
bummed out because it's the only time I ever get podiums.
Yeah, I mean, you weren't the one at Canadian Tire last season, but no, I could say yes to that answer. I think the
Absolutely. No,
competition helps it, but okay, let me bring this in for an example. I know you guys have the rule where you go halfway and you throw a caution when there's a caution-free race. We're not perfect. So here we go into the road race in the playoffs. You guys come up to Road America there. We go into turn 1, no problem. We go down to turn 2, no problem. We go into turn 5, which is the sharp left-hander down at the bottom of the hill. And you get a guy up in the top 5 that either one misses his braking point or something just goes wrong and he spins, and all of a sudden you look at about 8 or 9 people that just come piling in into a wreck. That's now no caution. Now you've got the field behind this wreck that's got to try to work its way through there, and pretty much along with the other 10 who just got in that wreck, just lost any shot at winning a race or even advance, especially if they're playoff drivers. Now, yes, you could say, okay, well, they shouldn't have been qualified back there. Agreed. But I think that caution would be perfect at that point to say, all right, re-rack them. Those guys got damaged. They'll go to the back. These guys get a chance still to go race. Where, a normal road race with the settings that iRacing has, it's just a local yellow. Keep going. But now you've got, potentially 3 guys that have a 15 to 20 second lead now on 4th, and it just become a 3-car race for the win for the next however many laps that race is.
No, it's a fair point. I feel like you could flip that both ways though, because you're right. It does give you could throw caution. We kind of re-rack, reset, and go again. Then, I feel like you kind of go back to the situation of cautions bring out cautions. And then we just go through this cycle of making everyone do pace laps around Road America and having to continually bring out caution. I get it. I don't think there's a perfect answer in there, but
I'll agree on that.
we'll see. I mean, every season we're always refining an experiment. Last season we didn't have a road course playoff. This one we do. This season we don't have that many short tracks. Maybe next season we will. We're always just kind of seeing how the league is moving and what seems to work and not work. So
now I will throw this curveball in there.
Go for it.
I would not be opposed to Eldora being in this playoffs.
I wasn't ready for that. Somewhere, William Calhoun just got really interested, and he doesn't know why yet.
Some of the best races we've had in this league have been those dirt races.
Yeah, you're not wrong. So, hold on, just so I understand what you're saying correctly. Would you be proposing 2 dirt races, or would you be saying the dirt race would be in the playoffs?
I wouldn't mind 2 dirt races. I'd be okay with that. I mean, you've already got 2 short tracks on the schedule, right? You got 2 big tracks. I won't say super speedways because obviously they're not. You've got plenty of intermediate tracks. You've got 1 or 2 road courses. Why not? Why not go to the Bristol Dirt Race or Eldora? Why not go to, you did Lernerville a couple of seasons ago.
God, I had so much fun at Lernerville.
Why not go to Knoxville? Why not try some other tracks off the top of my head? I mean, some of those more prestige dirt tracks. Why not go to USA and go on dirt?
Hey, we could do the
Why
children.
not Lanier on dirt? I mean, there's plenty of dirt tracks that could suit these trucks.
I'm going to have to think about that one, Chris. It's a good idea. I'm gonna chew on that. I know some people would object, but whatever.
Oh, and you're not gonna make everyone happy. I mean, hell, I made the comment about road courses, and Sean's flying from Las Vegas to Georgia right now to find me.
You never know. Never make everyone happy.
No.
That's interesting. I'm gonna ponder that one a little more.
Now, I wouldn't, and if I'm building the schedule right now in my head, it's not the first race of the playoffs.
No.
But I
It's-
think the
it's-
second
it's-
race of the playoffs, now we're talking.
Okay, well then fine. We're having fun here.
Mhm.
Let's pretend. Say we do, I don't know, Eldora as a track that people have done. Is that 2 slot in the playoffs before Indianapolis and Chicago?
Mhm.
What's the one you start the playoffs off
Well,
with?
following your rules, obviously you said that they have to be a Great Lake track.
Mhm.
I guess let me follow up with this question real quickly. Where do you consider the Great Lakes?
I'm pretty generous with it because I need more tracks to pick from.
Mhm.
I'll tell you one track that I have brought up multiple times and just keeps not making the cut is New Hampshire.
Okay.
It's more on the eastern coast side of Great Lakes. I think it's Erie, but would be an interesting track. I mean, I cheat a little bit, and that's why I consider like, oh
Jeez.
man,
Well,
gotta
get this
wrap
man,
up the show.
get a man a Red Bull or something. Good grief.
I know I'm yawning way too much. Like Gateway, yeah, St. Louis is not in the Great Lakes, but it's in Illinois. Illinois touches Lake Michigan. It's a stretch. So I would say it should at least be a state that touches one of the Great Lakes. That is sort of the definition I've gone with.
Okay. So with those options in mind, because it limits things. Because you got a lot of the road courses on iRacing are up in those areas.
So many good road courses.
Wow. I think you would have to go with Gateway off the top of my head. You would almost have what you have right now. You would subtract Road America and put in Eldora. That would probably be the way to go. Because some tracks that came to my head when you were talking, Kentucky came to my head. Nashville Super Speedway came to my head. Because I'm one that likes to balance it a little bit, so I'm not sitting there thinking of 2 short tracks in the playoffs. I'm not thinking of 2 super speedways or bigger tracks in there, because you've already got Indianapolis. Michigan's right there on the edge. Chicago's there. And if you bring Eldora in, I feel like that first track has to be either not technically a super speedway, but not a short track either. So, of course, that's where Nashville, Gateway, the Milwaukee Mile's the potential track there you could go with.
Oh, I forgot about Milwaukee Mile. I have put that track out of my memory.
I mean, you could do Lucas Oil Raceway. That's been some great racing there. I said Kentucky. I mean, it's not touching a lake, so that eliminates that option. You could reach out and say Pocono. Pennsylvania touches the lakes.
What about Dover?
I think
Where's
Dover would be
Dover?
phenomenal, but it doesn't touch a lake.
Where's Dover?
Delaware, like on the ocean.
It touched the. You know what? I would, if it was me, I would stretch the. I would
Do
stretch.
you want my true answer then?
Yeah, tell me your true answer.
Darlington.
Yeah.
Darlington, Eldora, Indianapolis, Chicago.
All right, that's interesting. Yeah, I mean that's what's so fun about the schedules, and it's like I know some people like a consistent schedule, some people want more variety, and I think that's why we've struck a good balance of a
Hmm.
calendar. And I'll tell you what, according to my opinion, um, Dover is about the same distance to one of the Great Lakes as Gateway is, and Dover is right next to the Atlantic, so why not? So, and again, that's just my 2 cents. Maybe Travis, Blaine disagree with that one, but I mean that's the fun of it. Is I also just love schedule making. Um,
Hey, do I need to put a proposal? How much money do I have to pay to get Dover as the opening race of the playoffs?
sure, I'll take some money. I can be bribed. Guys, I think that's going to be the show for tonight. A little different, a little weird,
The Lost
because
Show.
the lost show. Final last call for questions, but otherwise, I think we're going to wrap this one up. And excited for a race tomorrow around Homestead, Miami. Going to try and get some sleep. Maybe it's some laps in two. But Chris, thank you for making time this evening to chat with me. I know it's getting late out there in Georgia, so I'm always appreciative that you do this with me.
Oh, absolutely, man. Looking forward to it, and we'll get back to our regular editions of interviews and stuff like that next week. And as a matter of fact, I might help out a little bit and get an interview in advance so that I don't have to put too much stress on you.
I,
And
I will be out of town next weekend, so we will have to figure that one out
eh,
too.
one
So,
man show. Here we go. Me and the viewers. Let's roll.
all right.
But
And just remember, everybody, we're just here for the GSLR. I don't know how to end this now since we're on your we're on
Unfortunately.
your we're on your time. We're on your schedule.
My schedule. We're just here. Yeah, like you said it best. You got the line. Enjoy the last 4 laps. I'll keep the stream up for the race. But yeah, just come back and watch next week, and at least they'll know the episode is on YouTube now, so it isn't technically lost either.
The hard to find episode. No, it's not true. So, all right. Take care, everybody. I guess I can just sort of go whenever I want because this is still gonna go. This is the strangest thing. I
Awkward. So I can almost do a headset drop and just walk away.
all right. See ya.
Later, bud. So this really could get interesting now to the fact that like we could take over the show right now and just run with it. I do gotta go to bed though. Yeah. You too, Sean. Thanks, bud. You guys enjoy the race here. I'll be back in a couple minutes. Shut off.